Hi guys, and welcome to our overview video of MotoGP 17. So it's coming to shelves worldwide on June the 15th, and of course we have the new managerial mode, which is going to be very exciting for racing game fans. More on that later though. We're going to be kicking it off with a race here at Termas de Rio Honda, and we are riding as Valentino Rossi on his Yamaha YZR. This is a MotoGP race, of course. Besides the managerial career, perhaps one of the main features for MotoGP 17 is 60 frames per second on the consoles, which is fantastic news. And you know, it really is, it does add so much more to the experience when you get that lovely smooth frame rate. Everything just whizzes by nice and smoothly. You know, it really does make a big difference. You know, we're so used to 30 frames on the consoles. It's about time we had 60 frames in our racing games. So it's really, really good to see that Milestone are able to do that now. And of course, as they switch over to the Unreal Engine 4, it'd be interesting to see what they can do with that engine regarding frame rate and of course graphics. We're going to be looking now at some of the options here. We have the quick mode, of course, which enables you to jump into a quick race. You've got the Grand Prix Championship time attack and split screen as well, which is good to see included. Of course, in the quick mode you can select a circuit, select a rider, and away you go. Here are the different bike categories: MotoGP, Moto2, Moto3. We've got the Red Bull Rookies Cup and Historic, which is good to see. And we're going to be looking at the various riding aids here. So pretty standard stuff here: standard pro, semi-pro physics, auto brakes, joint brakes on or off, and some other aids there. So race options, you can have the minimum race length is 3 laps and 22 laps is the maximum, so pretty lengthy races there. Of course you can have a full race weekend or not. The weather conditions is actually locked out for the moment, so I will go into the career mode and unlock that and show you guys some wet river racing all going well. So my GP, we can choose your riding gear, rename your rider, choose all the gear that you want. Pretty much the usual stuff we've seen in Milestone games. This is actually the first Milestone game I've played where you don't actually have to do all this the moment you load the game for the first time, which is really good to see. And interestingly enough, you have the riding style here, so you can choose what sort of body language your rider has, whether he sticks out his elbow, sticks out his knee, and etc. So it's really good to see that, and that is actually the AI riders have their own unique styles as well, which is really good. So you can choose your livery and sponsor. We've got some liveries here. We're just going to be going through a few of those. You can see there, looking pretty cool, I've got to say. And of course you can change the various colours within the liveries as well, so you can tailor the colours to your needs, which is pretty awesome to see. You can even change the rim colours as well if you wish. So some pretty striking colours there. And of course sponsors, a few sponsors there to kick things off, and each comes with its own livery as well, so looking pretty awesome. Nice little 360 there of the bike. So back into some racing action then. This is a race at the Circuit of the Americas. This is a Moto3 race. So this is the, I believe this is the slowest category in MotoGP 17, unless the Red Bull Rookies are even slower. We're riding the KTM 250, and we are using the helmet cam, so I just thought I'd show this off. So it's pretty much what you see in Ride, and in fact the handling in MotoGP 17 is very reminiscent of Ride. So if you're familiar with Ride, you're going to get on well here. You can see just the way the helmet sort of stays still and the bike sort of swings around. It's very odd, not a viewpoint I particularly like, nor did I like in Ride, so I prefer either the chase cam or the first person view, which we will see in just a moment. But you know, improved bike sounds, very much a feature for MotoGP 17. Anyway, we're going to be looking back at some other options here. This is the multiplayer, so you can see all the various options there, including the co-op season, which is interesting. We're just going to be having a look at the various options here when you create a match. So you can choose between the different classes, of course, which physics you wish to have, along with other areas such as the transmission, track selection, whether people vote on it. Obviously you can have the AI difficulty as well, so you can have AI riders filling in the gaps. So jumping into the standard rider career, once again you'll be setting up your character and then just having a little look here at the various settings for the bikes. So you've got suspension, you've got the gearing, you've got your brakes and tyres and all that good stuff. Of course you can save your setups if you wish. Each of the components there, you can see a breakdown explaining what each does on the right of the screen, which is really good to see. So if you are struggling with your bike, you can tell your engineers where you're having the problems, what's going on, and the engineer will recommend a number of settings to hopefully correct the issue. You can apply those settings to the bike or ignore them as you see fit. So once that's all done, there's only one thing left to do, and that's to get on your bike and go for a race. So Managerial Career, let's dive into this, see what's new. So once again, you'll be choosing your character. We've seen this a number of times now. Riding style as well, along with the team name. Now team management here. So first of all, you get to choose your Moto3 bike, and you apply your sponsor. Of course you have your emails, which tells you all the various bits of information. Pretty standard fare. And then you go for your first race. So a little bit of action here from the cockpit view. We will show you a race from the cockpit view in just a moment. So just a little bit of a teaser for now. Now once you've completed your race, you will earn credits and reputation points. And then it'll be time to select your teammate to manage. Once that's done, you can look at the staff management area. You have here a number of categories. So we have mechanical engineers, track engineers, motor engineers, telemetry and more, and each has 3 different levels. Of course each level gives you higher gains, but of course costs a lot more money. So we've just upgraded our mechanical engineer. And you can see the prices there, 200,000 plus there, so that requires a serious investment, an investment of time to save up, no doubt. But there's plenty here. As you can see, each of these categories has 3 different levels, which will take an awful lot of cash to improve. And of course there's office and support on top of the pit, which we've just seen. So plenty of stuff there. See here in this page you can check your rider performance, and you can upgrade their level of crew. Again, the higher the level, the higher the cost. And then there's the garage, which once again has several different categories. In this case we have the different workshops, and as you can see a number of different components here which you can purchase to upgrade your various aspects of the bike, including the engine, suspension and the brakes. So lots and lots there to keep players busy. So a pretty comprehensive package there.
The riders are all on the grid now, ready for the Austrian Grand Prix.
Right, so we're going to be closing out this overview with a race here at the Red Bull Ring. This is a Moto 2 race, and we have the cockpit view here throughout the entirety of the race, and you can see the replay at the top of the screen. So graphically, I do notice 1 or 2 shortcuts. You know, we've got the very flat grass, but the reason for that is because, you know, Milestone are pushing 60 frames per second, so they do have to make certain cutbacks on the visuals. But it all depends on what you're after. If you're after graphics, you might be a little bit disappointed, but if you're after frame rate, then you can certainly understand the compromise that the companies have to do to get it running at 60 frames per second. So it looks pretty good, I've got to say, considering it is running at 60 frames on the PS4, and it just makes the experience so much smoother, so much better. We certainly are fans of 60 frames per second here at Team VVV. So improved audio, of course. I'm just going to be quiet just for a second to give you guys a little listen. So if you do have the PlayStation 4 version of MotoGP 17, you can participate in the new Esports Championship. It is a PS4 exclusive. So basically there are 7 online trials, and the 16 fastest riders will battle it out in the live final at Valencia, and the winner will have a BMW M240i, no less, which is worth somewhere in the region between £30,000 and £40,000. So certainly worth getting stuck in and have a go if you're good enough. So some good action here from the replays. Gotta say, very surprised with the audio in this game. Such a leap forward. We've seen it in milestone games of late. We've seen it in MXGP 3. We've seen it in gravel as well, the upcoming off-road racer. And here again, this is probably the most impressive actually of the lot, MotoGP 17. You know, especially when the bikes are all revving their engines at the start of the race, just before the off. When you're using, you know, high quality headphones, it really is a, you know, a fantastic sound, and it really does get you pumped for the action to come. So running a little bit wide there. I do have the physics set to semi-pro. I did find semi-pro was the most intuitive and most fun of the 3 modes on offer. You got the standard, you got the semi-pro, and you got the pro. Pro for me, it just felt a little bit too easy to fall off the bike, and Alan touched on this before in our preview video. And I've got to say, I do agree with him. It just feels a little bit too uncompromising, a little bit too hardcore for me personally. But of course, experienced players will go for the pro physics and get a lot out of it, no doubt. But for me, semi-pro is where it's at. A sort of nice balance between fun and realism, I found. So for me, this was the ideal setting. Now, when you did see me running off the track earlier, I do have the grip set to high on the track, outside the track boundaries, so that's why I managed to get away with running on the grass. But I imagine if you turn the grip to low, or whatever the setting is, you know, you're going to be at risk from falling off your bike, of course. So, you know, very similar to Ride 2 handling, especially in the cockpit view. I found, you know, you've got a lovely degree of steering, lovely control, and it's so satisfying when you do get your lines right. But you know, I've been playing a lot of Dirt 4 on the steering wheel recently, so to go from that to go into a motorbike game using a controller is a massive difference. So it will take me a little bit of time to readjust. But I was a big fan of Ride 2, and because this feels so similar, you know, this feels pretty decent, I've got to say. So, you know, if you have played Ride 2, if you do like Ride 2, then I guess it's worth picking up MotoGP 17 if you do like the track-based racing, whereas Ride 2 is more of a sort of country tracks and stuff like that, and road circuits. So it's a different flavour altogether, but nonetheless, they do feel very similar in terms of physics, which is a good thing in my eyes. So, you know, we've said it before, but once you do hook up apexes, it's a very satisfying feeling. You know, you got a nice flow. We had it with Ride 2, we've got it here as well. And the brakes in, oh. So it is pretty tricky stuff, these bikes. They are only in the Moto 2 category, but even so, pretty tricky stuff. And we're going to be coming round to finish the race now. So that was it for our MotoGP 17 overview, and no doubt we'll have more on the game coming up very shortly. Thanks for watching.